You know what to do with it.
I pitched it to one of my real estate buddies because he's looking for a house for his family. And I was like, yeah, this is one that's probably not going to work for me. But, if you want to come in and take over the payments, we can work something out. And he's like, yeah, I'll look at it. So I took him out to look at it today. But now that with the stuff that you guys are telling me, I'm way overthinking it again.
You got to delete that word from your mouth. Telling somebody they can take over some payment. Just delete that from your vocabulary. We never talk about somebody taking over the payment. We're talking about what can you afford a month. And if it's, you need 1,100, they tell you they can do 16 or whatever number they can tell you. If it's good enough for you, we do the deal. Don't tell nobody ever that they can take over no payment, ever. Not if you can find a way to stay in the deal and get a $500,000, $600,000 a month passive cash flow on a house you got no money in.
Actually,
these stories, man, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh man,
that's deep.
It is. So I try to ask some very important questions, but once we was on that path to her saying yes, I went straight for we about to get this contract over to you.
Like Chris says, kid march to the door.
Would this mean you upside down in the deal if you bringing all the cash to the table, and then the $100,000 loan, are you upside down?
The loan is $92,000, $5,000 to her. The ARV on this property is $120,000.
Okay, the ARV is $120,000. Okay.
And so what exit strategy are you planning on doing with this?
Lease option for sure.
So you got it under contract today. You could almost start marketing it already.
I want to go verify the condition because the last couple that I went to go verify, they weren't even close to what I was told. So I do want to go do that. But yeah, if it looks like what she's telling me.
So you can put out generic marketing just so you can start gathering people to your list. It don't have to be just about this property. You can use this property as the template. 3-bedroom, 2-bath in blank city, seller will finance, down payment required. Start marketing already. You don't have to wait to go see the house. Start cultivating and growing your buyers list.
Should I put a picture up with that or no?
If you got it, yeah. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. You could tell them it's a handyman special. That's my favorite word, handyman special. I don't know what it needs. It needs some handyman work, nothing major. It need a little fix here and a little tink there. The garage door off track, little silly stuff, As long as it's not something major like it needs a roof, it's a hole in a roof or something silly. But if you're talking regular run-of-the-mill paint, carpet, cosmetic stuff, I don't worry about that.
My son put that up on Marketplace and a couple other places for me. Put a picture of a house and put the lease option thing on there, or we're selling with owner financing. And I'm building a list right now locally for lease option people, and they keep hitting my list. Like my Google sheet just keeps filling up. These people are telling me what we want. We want this neighborhood. We want this price. This is what we can afford to pay per month. And this is, most of them want to move in a month or 2 months or something like that. I have them ask them the question if they want something that's move-in ready, or do they want something that's a handyman special. Some of them are saying, I have these skills. I don't mind buying something that needs a little work. More often than not, they're saying we want something move-in ready. But
yeah.
Okay. Chris,
now you know who you're dealing with. I'm sorry, what's that? Right?
I was going to say, can you say that one more time, how you will write that up? You said 3-bed, 2-bath in this city, and then you said something else after that.
So basically, the house you got under contract, that's your template. You don't have to get specific and say it's this address, but just a generic ad on like your local, like Craigslist and maybe even Facebook if you can do it in those groups, like in those yard sale groups and stuff like that, or certain things like that. So you're trying to attract motivated buyers, or even in those rental groups, say tired of renting, we'll finance with a down payment, handyman special. In your neighborhood or in this neighborhood, you can name the neighborhood. And it's more so just trying to grow the list, because most of the people are not going to qualify anyway, which is not a problem. But say if we do find somebody that got $25,000 down in bad credit, we going to find them a house. We got a house for you because we never ended that deep. Even if I got to give 10 to get in it and they give me 25, I get to keep the 15 and the house. Now we're not buying houses anymore. We're being paid to take houses. And I've done it so many times. It still blows me away that you can do that. Get paid to take the house. Because it's a seller side and a buyer side in every transaction. You just figure out how do you keep yourself in the deal, get that down payment or that first month up front, that first chunk of money up front. How do you cash flow it? All the rents over here are $1,400. This guy say he's willing to pay $1,900. Wow, that's $500 a month. Free money for doing something I did months ago, years ago, long time ago. Cash flow.
So I got one, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working on this one. This was the first one that I wanted to do on a lease option. And I've been working on this thing for, 6 or 8 months now, something like that. And I have somebody to move into it, but the bank would not do a short sale for me. So that's what kind of killed the deal. But
why is it?
Say again?
Why is that? Why did they kill the deal?
Well, they won't do a short sale. They want their money. So the house is worth, in my opinion, about 110, I would say 120,000 max. And they want 175 is what they want.
You're saying the sellers want some money?
No, it's up for foreclosure. We stopped the auction. And so we asked the bank what we can do. So we presented a short sale package. The bank denied the short sale package. So they came back with us and told us they would do a partial claims. So they would take all the...
Maybe I'm slow. What does the seller want?
Seller just doesn't want to have to make payments next month. That's it.
So you're taking over for the loan balance.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that kill the deal?
The thing that I'm nervous about is that in the house's current condition, it's worth about $120,000.
Who told you that?
That's what I would pay for it. That's what any of the wholesalers or not wholesalers, any of the fix and flip guys that would buy it, that's what they would buy it for. I know where you're going with this, but what about a lease option or something like that?
All we need is a person with money that's willing to deal with all that. You don't have to worry about fixing it and all that. If somebody else is willing to drop some money and take it over and let it be their baby.
And so the thing that I'm up against, for me at least, where I'm at in my journey, is that I don't want to take over a house that I could be upside down on.
How would you be upside down on it? I mean, how much do they owe again? Let me write this down so I'm keeping up. Okay. How much do they owe?
Mm-hmm. So the bank is wanting, I don't have the final numbers yet, but it's somewhere upwards of 170, probably 179.
Okay. And you can get it for closing costs plus?
I can get it for nothing right now. Because if they do the partial claims, then it would be a lease option is probably what it would be. The owner would lease it to me for 9 months. And the only thing I need to do to get in the deal is just pay next month's mortgage payment.
How much is it in arrears?
It is probably about $20,000 in arrears. The principal is like 163, I think, something like that.
So the 20,000 is the real problem.
Yes.
And nobody would even give you even half that to take over that house, or even more than half of that.
Right, because it needs some work done on it. The subfloor needs some work. There's some construction. You know, it's not just paint and wallpaper, paint and carpet.
And you've already marketed and tried to see what the marketplace thinks about it?
I haven't done a really good job at that. No, I'll be honest. I've marketed it internally, some people I know and stuff like that. But
yeah, you got to put it out there, Jim. You got to let the marketplace tell you, because I don't know and you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The marketplace is always right in these situations.
But see, my question is this: is I have somebody that would come. Well, I don't, because they don't want to do this much work. So I'd have to put 10,000 into it to make it so that my prospective buyer would buy it. But I don't want to put any money into something I'm going to be upside down on, number one. And number two,
don't put money.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to put any money. I don't want to put any money. I don't want to open a deal to something that I think I have on a lease option, and then to come back and tell me that they can't do the lease option, and then have it rent for only $300 more than what the current mortgage payment is. So in other words, it works for this one deal with this lease option, But if that deal falls through, now I've got something that I'm stuck with that's not really a good deal.
What is the mortgage payment?
Mortgage payment is $1,100 a month.
1,100 PITI.
Yep.
What's PITI? Justin Holmes. He like
PITI. I wrote it down in my notes from one of our calls. Is that principal interest? Principal interest. I don't know.
Think of your mortgage. You pay the principal and interest, but there's something else you're paying on top of that. If you have a mortgage, I don't know.
I don't know.
You got this, bro.
Principal interest. I don't know.
what's the number one way they could take your house if you don't pay your
Taxes and insurance. Yeah.
There you go.
Hold on, where my thing at? I ain't even got no sound effects today. But yeah.
You did it, bro.
Ding, 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 ding. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. That's what makes up the loan every time.
So it's $1,100 on this one.
Yeah, so it's $1,100 a month. You said it's about $20,000 in arrears, and you said the ARV is about how much?
The current value, after repair value, probably 200.
So 200, but he owes 179. So nobody would take that house for 200 or 210 or anything close to that with a down payment at all. That would be unrealistic.
For that kind of down payment, I think that would be unrealistic.
Is this house destroyed? I mean, what does the house need?
No, the subfloor's rotted out on the corner of 4 rooms.
So you got some. So
it's going to need some roof and it's got a metal roof on it, but they didn't install the metal roof right around the drain pipes. They didn't put boots around the drain vent lines, and so all the water ran down the outside of the drain vent line and rotted out the wall 2x4s and rotted out the subfloor.
And so is the property vacant?
Yep.
I would just start marketing it, just like a wholesale cash deal. And I'm not talking about to these cheap investors. I'm just going to say it out loud. Cash buyers, investors are cheap. I don't care what they think. I need somebody that want to move in that house. The end buyer that's going to live in that house, fix up that house, love that house, do the landscaping, trim the bushes, do fresh paint, and take a year to do it, 2 years to do it. And I can care less. As long as they pay, they can stay. That's who I'm looking for, not investors. They're cheap. You got to shift off of that. So it's the cash side, and then it's the creative side. We need a creative person who want to do it. And you don't even have to necessarily do it on a lease option. You can do a land contract. If that person feel like, oh, that's too much, if they know too much. I would start with the lease option like I normally do. But if somebody knows too much in real estate, we would do a land contract for deed, or whatever it's called in your state.
What's the difference? Maybe I don't understand the difference there.
So the lease with an option to buy is just that, a lease, and another document that gives them an option to buy if they go get a new loan, go cash you out with a refinance, go get a private lender, go get some type of money from somewhere and pay you out. But it's a lease in the meantime and in between time. That's a lease option. For the land contract, that's actually a sale. You're selling the property. However, we're not recording anything until they fulfill the obligation of that land contract. So you're selling it with an interest rate. It's seller financing. So they really are buying the house, but they got to perform on it. Lease option, they are leasing the house, and they still got to perform on it. Either way is okay for you, but they got to bring some money to the deal, and they got to be able to handle the house.
So it sounds to me that the difference is just on a lease option, I hold the title. The investor holds the title, but on a land contract, the purchaser holds the title.
Not necessarily.
In that in-between time.
Not necessarily. You hold title in both. We're just not recording new title for them until they fulfill the obligations of that land contract. I don't record it. Some people do it, and maybe some states require it, but here in Missouri, it's not required to record the land contract, so I don't record them. Because that person might fall off 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And why am I going to have that recorded? Then I got to foreclose and go through that whole process. I don't want to go through all that. I just want to rip up the land contract. It's no longer valid. This person failed to perform. whatever. We move on. But we sold it to them, and that it helps them because it actually builds up equity over time. And you can structure them just like any other bank loan, just like you've been doing with your lending and stuff. Same thing. You're just structuring financing. Real estate, when you understand the way everything's financed, it all gets simple. It all comes back to finance no matter what. Oh, but it needs a roof. Finance. Oh, but it got a tenant. Finance. It still come back to the finance some kind of way. How do we structure a way that we can help them achieve that goal?
So in this particular deal, the other thing that I'm nervous about is the due on sale. What happens if I got called with a due on sale? I would be upside down.
Well, it depends on the deal. We can't say that because we still have if you find a tenant buyer and you said you needed 20,000 in arrears, let's just say you found somebody that had 15,000 down, and you said your payments is 1,100. They say they can pay you 1,600 a month. You got a little $500 a month cash flow. You're only going to have maybe $5,000 in the pot. Would that be more suitable for you? You think if we could structure something like that?
Well, I think I would still be at that point where what happens if that person that's paying me that lease option, what happens if they stop paying me the lease option for $1,600 a month?
With all that work go ahead, Art, tell them what happens.
It's the best thing ever, Jim. You just do the whole deal. You can't lose, man. You can't lose.
Well, where it's different on this deal, I think, and it might just be you guys need to help clarify here a little bit, is that my rent could be $1,600 a month on this place because I found somebody that it's really important to. And so they gave me that price. What I could rent it for market rate would probably be, in the condition it's in, would be about probably $1,100 or $1,200 a month without putting a lot of money into it.
So let me say this, Jim. We don't care what the market says. We care what the buyer says. I don't even care. The person who wants the house, who has the money to do it, what do they think about the house? Throw me out of it, throw you out of it. We don't matter. If Justin Holmes want this house and he got $20,000 and gonna pay me $1,600 a month, I ain't gonna overthink it because I got no money in the deal. Where do I lose at?
But now let's say Justin Holmes walks out on you. Now you got, in the case like we mentioned, I got $5,000 in the deal and I'm making these mortgage payments for the person. And now Justin Holmes leaves me and now it's sitting vacant. And then I go out and I start marketing this thing around. I got to find somebody to come back into that deal. And every month it's sitting there that I don't have somebody back in that deal, I'm making that mortgage payment. So I'm sitting
It
on
happens on any property you buy though, Jim. That's any house you buy in real estate is going to be the same thing. If you got a vacant property, you're paying on it. That's any house.
But I can't lower the amount because I'm already at that break-even point. So, normally I would like to get into a deal where I get enough cash flow that if I was in a pinch, I could just say, okay, I'll lower the rent $500 a month and I know somebody's going to rent it for that. And at least I'm breaking even. But in this case, because everything high, it was like, I'd be negative cash flow most likely.
And all of that's perfectly possible. These are good objections to raise. However, the marketplace changes. That area might go up in the next 2 years. You don't know what it's going to do. It might go down. Say everything goes to hell. Guess what we can do, Jim?
What's that?
We can deed that bad boy right back to the seller and go on back about our life. Why are we worried about it? Worst case scenario, here's your house back. I don't want it no more. What happens then?
Now they just need to start making the payments on it or whatever they do with it. It's up to them.
That's not an option in my mind, but that is an option in everybody's mind. We can always say, you know what? I made a mistake. Take your house back. I'm deeding it back to you. Ain't nothing nobody can do to stop you from doing that other than saying the seller don't want their house back. So don't ever feel like you're obligated to any of this stuff, especially when you don't have a loan in your name. This is not going to hurt your credit or something or mess you up. Worst case scenarios, we give the house back, which we're probably never going to do because it's always going to be appreciating. Rents are always going to keep going up. Things are going to keep happening. So it doesn't matter. Or my favorite, like my guy or whoever Jay Colleen on here says, you just started all over again. You know how many houses I've taken back and started this process over again? I've had 3 tenant buyers in at least 5 of my houses, 3 separate tenant buyers in 5 different houses. And I only been doing real estate for coming up on 6 years or 6 years.
You're making me want to jump into this deal again.
Find a buyer. But that's what. But I gotta make sure this seeps in. Forget investors. We're not talking to investors. They're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I need a person who need a house, who got money, who don't have good credit or whatever the situation is. You got the money, the know how to fix this house. This is your baby, and I'm moving out the way, and I'm gonna help you get it done. I might even send you a contract.
How many bedrooms is it, Jim?
It's a 3-2.
Oh, it's time for you to start some co-living.
It's a 3-2, 1,600 square foot on 2 acres with a garage.
And that's the thing too. I'm never thinking about traditional rent. I mean, we do supposed to underwrite it with that. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not doing traditional rent. No way. I'm gonna beat traditional rent. Whatever the traditional market is, I don't care because I'm gonna beat that with the down payment, and I'm gonna beat that with the cash flow. And they can deal with it. There's somebody that wants that house. Your job is to make sure that they know that you exist.
And here's the thing, like we were talking earlier, my seller in this case told me that she will give me the keys for just making the payment. She doesn't want $500. She doesn't want $3,000. She doesn't want anything. She said, just take the keys, make the payment. That's it.
And you already have it under contract, correct?
I do.
Put it on the MLS. Seller will finance. We overthinking this stuff, man. Real estate is easy. It's people that's difficult. You got the people. Once you got the people, real estate easy.
Well, here's the other thing I'll throw out is that I don't have to pay the arrears to take ownership of it. So the arrears is like we were saying, $20,000. The bank is offering a partial claim. Now, on the partial claim, they'll put the arrears and possibly some of the principal on the backside of the loan at a 0% interest rate as a junior lien. So that's
I don't even think about stuff like that. That's no brainer.
So that's an option that I can do, and I can negotiate that with the bank to see how much I can get put on the backside, and every bit of it's going to be helpful. Now, here's the thing. The catch to that is that the bank says that in order for them to do a partial claim, the homeowner has to stay in the house.
I hope you didn't go over there running those lips telling them that they ain't living in the house yet, did you?
Mm-mm.
All right. So that's not even a point at this point.
It's just like sub 2 at that point.
Same thing. So just to keep this clean and simple, your job is to market the property to somebody who wants to live in it. Signs, Zillow, Facebook, every site you can think of, apartments.com, hot pads, all those like MLS, the multiple listing service. Put it real big words, seller will finance. Prices at $2,099 or $199. Who cares? Seller will finance. House needs some work. And put that thing on the MLS and pay an agent to bring a buyer. No big deal. They got to have a down payment. It's just that simple. And let the marketplace tell you. Now, say the marketplace don't get it, then don't do the deal. But if all you got to find is one person comes along, I love this house. I've been looking for something like this to fix up. I got $20,000, burned a hole in my pocket. Let me buy it from you, Jim. Sell the house. Don't overthink this stuff.
So then what?
So I gotta look at this now because I just about gave this deal away to somebody today.
Give it to me. I'll do it from St. Louis since you don't want to do it. I'll go make it. I'll go ahead, Art.
I was just asking. So if you find a buyer before you even closed on it, you just tell them that it'll be available on this date?
Yes.
I have somebody that wants to move in.
Hold on. Let me get gangster. Let me put my gangster hat on. Wait a minute. You ready, Art? Let me put my hat on all the way. I tell them they need to give me a non-refundable deposit to even hold the house for them for when it's ready. And I'll take that money and go close the deal with their money. Come on,
Chris.
man. We don't even need money to do real estate. You need to know structuring deals. That's all you need.
So let me throw this at you.
Come on.
My current buyer that actually is 2 months away from wanting to move into this house. They extended their contract in Georgia to live where they're at, but they really want to move into this house. So they have last time I talked to them, they have 7,000, but they were trying to come up with $10,000 down payment. But they don't want the subfloors routed around the toilet. So they're afraid that, you sit on the toilet, you might find yourself in the crawl space. So that's something that they're not skilled.
That's the only thing wrong with it?
That's the big things. I mean, the bathrooms has some soft floors.
What's that cost to fix that? $1,000?
Yeah, I guess it can be patched up.
Nuts and real estate money.
So I need to just take their down payment money and get that toilet fixed and all that kind of stuff and get them in that house.
No money out the deal, never qualified, never used a W-2, tax return, bank statement, none of that other crap. It's a slam dunk deal. You already got a buyer. What are we doing? The only thing to fear
Overthinking it.
Man.
Everybody bow.
See, this why I fucking
but this is
Chris.
what I'm talking about when we talk about don't overthink this stuff. Let the marketplace decide. If I got a buyer and they say some little thing to tweak to make it work, tweak that little thing and make it work. Especially if we're talking about $1,000. We ain't even talking about like 50,000 we got to put in. We talking about $1,000. That's peanuts in real estate world. That's earnest money. You know, you've done way bigger deals than that, Jim. Come on now. Don't make me push you through the computer here. Get that deal done. I don't know what you've been doing. You've been asleep? Let me wake you up with something. Straight up. Yeah. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Chris Monroe. R to the O-E. I flip houses, rent cars, and make money. You know I'm not no motherfucker dummy. This how we do.